Hello everyone, and today I am going to do another review. As you all know, I absolutely really do love Avatar The Last Airbender. I even owned it on DVD. Now I did say in my review for Sozin's Comet, like when I reviewed the final book, book 3, and then I reviewed Susan's Comet, I said I might, but it was a slight maybe, that I would review the spin-off sequel known as The Legend of Korra, as I was reviewing the TV show and The Last Airbender movie. So I was quite sad that I actually finished the series because I was really enjoying it. However, when I did say to myself, they did a good job wrapping it all up, despite having a very emotional, happy ending. But I was going to review the spin-off sequel, because obviously I ordered it on Amazon, and I actually decided, you know what, if it's that much money, because obviously it was 40 quid to get all the shows together, I said, I'm going to watch it, I'm going to give it a watch, and you know what, after watching, I know this is a bit of a different kind of review, because I reviewed the Avatar seasons, but season by season, I am reviewing this series, like, all together, because I feel that, well, I feel the spin-off, it takes itself, it kind of feels like all the story is being just split, it's just being split into 4 seasons slash books. And today, I'm going to review The Legend of Korra. And so yeah, The Legend of Korra, let's review it. So, Legend of Korra takes place 70 years after Avatar and follows the new Avatar Korra, who is mastering the element of air and trying to save the world with the help of friends like Mako and with the training from Avatar Aang's son, Tenzin. Not only am I doing this review by myself, I am actually reviewing this series along with a good friend of mine. You might know him from some of the collaborations, like the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack reviews on my birthday livestream from 2017. That guy is Harry Thomas Pictures. Introduce yourself, buddy.
The Legend of Korra, directed by Michael Data DiMartino and Brian Cosentio, and is the sequel to the original TV show Avatar The Last Airbender, one of Nickelodeon's best shows. So The Legend of Korra tells the story taking place 70 years after the events of Book 3 of Avatar Last Airbender, where Korra, the airbender who follows Aang, as she is leading her people in the Republic City, where benders and non-benders coexist together peacefully until a revolution is starting. So it's up to Korra to put things right. Now, Legend of Korra, to me, initially I thought this show is a solid follow-up, but though initially I wasn't loving it entirely like I did Last Airbender, but on rewatch I totally dug this show. Legend of Korra for me is on par with Last Airbender. This is such a awesome sequel.
Yes, The Legend of Korra is overall a good series. Its story is pretty decent for what it is. It's pretty simple, you know what I mean, sequel to the original, relive the original classic Avatar. But to me, I think it kind of tries too much. My problem with The Legend of Korra is that it kind of tries too hard to be its own thing. It kind of tries to think, it kind of is in a mindset that it's so like alone, like it thinks that, oh, I am not a sequel, I'm a part of my own thing. To be honest, it kind of feels that the story, it really neglects a load of the original series, Avatar The Last Airbender, or Legend of Aang. this is one of my biggest issues, and it makes the plot really go inferior to that series. Basically the problems is that I feel they ignore way too much of Aang's story, and I felt if they had more cameos of the original characters, I think it would have felt more. Oh, this is a big sequel. This is the next generation. Obviously, Korra and the new characters. I feel like most of the series, it kind of focuses way too much on the newbies and doesn't focus way too much on it being a sequel. Because this is why I love it when we get to see the characters like Katara, Toph, and Zuko. Who Katara's in most of the series, and then obviously Zuko's only in book 3, and then Toph is only in book 4. Like, it's honestly one of my big issues with the series is that it kind of feels too much of a standalone, which is cool. You know what I mean? If you want to be a standalone, that's your thing. I understand that. Oh, you might want to be different to the original. That's fine, and obviously there are some improvements. Like the animation is a big improvement over Avatar, and I think the fight choreography is even better than the original. I love the way they bend the elements now. They introduce some new things as well, like metal bending, etc. And I think it really is well executed. And I actually didn't mind the character design. I felt the character design is up there with the original. It's not, although they are kind of the same. It's the same kind of design, but hey, it still counts. But I feel like sometimes I felt the series, it kind of tries way too hard to be like its own thing. In my opinion, I felt like I felt I was watching something else. I didn't feel like I was watching a sequel. This is one of my biggest issues with the storytelling. It kind of tries way too hard to be, oh, we're this new thing, we're like bigger and better. I will give the series this for having a lot more darker moments than the original. It's not Ninjago dark, no. I kind of feel underwhelmed when I'm expecting it to have a bit of a darker tone than Ninjago, but there aren't as much darker moments as Ninjago, although that's probably because that has more seasons. But yeah, there were some dark moments in this series which I did appreciate quite a lot. I even felt some of the designs were even similar to Ninjago. Like Republic City kind of reminds me a bit of Ninjago City. They are kind of similar. I feel like, okay, visual wise, this is a bit more similar to Ninjago, but story wise, not so much. I feel like I feel it just kind of tries way too hard to be its own thing, and that's what makes it suffer from being a great plot. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad. In fact, I think the series is great overall. I just feel like there needs more. There needs to be more focus on on a sequel. Like, oh, they can do the next generation of Avatar, but you need to have more callbacks to the original. Like when we get to see flashbacks, like with Aang and Yukon and Toph and Sokka, it's great because it makes me feel like, oh, I'm watching a sequel to the original Aang story. You need more flashbacks. Like, you don't need to show us like a shit ton of flashbacks. Like, that's fine. You want to be a standalone series, but to me, I think it would be better if they had tried a bit better on making it feel like, oh, this is a sequel. Maybe have a bit more like callbacks to the original. Maybe like they don't even show flashbacks to Avatar Aang's like story. They don't show any flashbacks to this one, and I think it makes the plot suffer. I don't mean suffer as in it's terrible. In fact, it's a great plot overall, but it needs more flashbacks. It needs more like callbacks to the original Aang. It needs to be more like faithful. Not faithful. I'd say, I don't know. I'd say the word for it would be, I'd say it needs to be more like flashback. It needs to more continue the plot. Like, I get that it takes place 70 years. That's cool enough, but I think like it's kind of cool that, like, obviously, yeah, the old characters are elderly people. I think it would be a bit better if they did use like more flashbacks, more callbacks. I know I'm repeating myself, but still, like, I still think they should have done that. But yeah, that's like one of my big issues with the series.
So what positives do I have for Legend of Korra? Let's find out. So, Korra herself, voiced by Janet Varney, she is a character who similar to Aang, is lost in her purpose, and she's doing her best to keep peace with the benders and non-benders in Republic City, as she has she has a ton of responsibility on her shoulders, and you really feel sorry for her with that weight of responsibility. And not only that, but Janet Varney voices her electrifyingly well. In fact, she's a more badass airbender than Aang, the original airbender, ever was.
There is Korra, who is the new Avatar, and is a very fleshed out character and is a very strong Avatar, definitely stronger than Aang ever was. However, there are times when I found Korra to be a bit too much of a suffering character who would always do something herself and would always mess up and go through a shit ton of suffering. While it is nicely told and the execution doesn't bother me that much, but it can sometimes get predictable and pretty repetitive.
And and the brothers that accompany her. There's a combination of benders and non-bender characters, which helps to establish peace to people who are different in society. I love that this show is continuing that theme. That's this world needs balance to live.
There's Bolin and Maku, who are pretty good characters, and Bolin is very funny and did get a lot of good laughs out of me. Maku would pretty much be the little bit of the Zuko of the series, however he's a lot less angry than Zuko ever was. He's an interesting character, and I really liked his chemistry with Korra and Azami. I also loved the character of Azami. I found this character to be very sweet and an interesting character. Out of the new Team Avatar, she'd definitely be my favourite. She's overall a fantastic character who would easily be my top 3 favourite characters of The Legend of Korra.
And the show's purpose as a sequel, thankfully, isn't to be obsessed by nostalgia and pointing back to Last Airbender, saying, "Oh, you remember how great Last Airbender was?" No, it just occasionally mentions Last Airbender when necessary, but for the most part, this show is its own thing, and it's continuing the story instead of rehashing it. And this is the flawless way to continue the story for the following generation of Avatar fans. And even J.K. Simmons is a voice actor in this show. That's right, Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man and Kai from Kung Fu Panda 3 is in this, yep. And J.K. Simmons, could he just voice act in anything animated related? He has such a recognizable voice talent, and yeah, his character is one of the descendants of Aang. We yet to see how Aang's legacy is continued in the show, which is something the fans may have done in fan fiction, but we finally get to see it here. Finally, a show that makes what the fans want to see happen.
Now this is where The Last Airbender feels really kick in. Aang's family, Tenzin, Pama and the 4 children, Rohan, Jinora, Ikki and Milo. The scenes with the airbending family is just incredible. It is easily my favourite parts of the entire show and gives me a whole sequel feel that this really does take place after Avatar. Tenzin is a fantastic character with a lot of depth in it and brilliantly voiced by J.K. Simmons, who honestly I think he even looks like J. Jonah Jameson. Now, I have to admit though, the way he talks about Aang being his father, it honestly just gives me the feeling that Tenzin would be the father of Aang. Not just because Aang was a kid in the original series, but the way he'd speak of Aang for the difficulties Aang went through, like saying for the start of the series, for Aang it was earthbending that he thought was really hard, while Korra is really terrible at trying to airbend. It just makes me think,
Tenzin really talks about Aang as if he was Aang's father, as if Aang was Tenzin's son. That's the kind of feel I get to it, but then again, that's just me. And Milo, I have one thing to say. He is absolutely hilarious.
Music wise, they're actually, I feel like some of the music here, I kind of feel like I'm hearing some of the exact same music used in Legends of Awesomeness, Kung Fu Panda. 14 days left till Pause of Destiny, by the way. I felt like some of the music kind of sounded a bit too similar, but that's not a bad thing. No, that's not a bit of a flaw. I feel the music is beautiful, although I can't really stand the end credit music for every episode. Now, Avatar had an end credit music by like dum da dum da dum, and then they changed it for the final episode, Avatar Aang, which is Susan's Comet Part 4. They changed the end credits music for that. I was kind of expecting that for Korra, but no, they just play it like some dun dun, and it's not bad, but it's kind of cheesy, and it kind of just sounds a bit lazy. Like, it's kind of just basic, really, and I wish they could have maybe added in a bit of their own original like music for the credits, but that's just for the credits. The rest of the music is phenomenal, and I think the music does like have its similar tone to Ninjago. Both Avatar shows I think are similar to Ninjago in terms of music and story, even though Legend of Korra might not have that many similarities. I felt like the plot was kind of, I felt like some of the music is kind of I don't know, but I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to say it, but I'd say the music was good. But I felt like the end credits needed more original music.
It also continues to be a incredibly dark and engaging and ballsy show entirely. So in conclusion, the negative section for Legend of Korra is empty. There is no negatives. The Legend of Korra is a sequel show that a sequel shows should universally take notes from.
So yeah, thank you, Harry, for joining this collaboration. I have to admit that was a very fun review in terms of editing. I overall, as for my thoughts, I know you probably have heard Harry's thoughts by now. Overall, I think The Legend of Korra is a great series. Apart from its problems, like, it's not perfect. No, it is superior to obviously The Last Airbender movie, which is laughable bad. But yeah, I do agree. It is quite like messy and all, but I wouldn't say it's bad. But obviously, if you want to hear my thoughts on that, you can check out my review. So yeah, that's for my review for Last Airbender, which I did a review a while back. Also, stay tuned for another collaboration I'm doing for a Battle of Films of Last Airbender. We'll get to see that soon. Okay, but other than that, obviously, like I said, I think Legend of Korra is a very entertaining, fun series. It has its issues, don't get me wrong. It's not perfect. It's definitely the weakest Avatar show I've seen for like a long. Well, actually, no. There's only 2 Avatar shows, so this one's probably the weakest. Okay, but I think this is good. It is weak compared to obviously Avatar The Last Airbender. It is very weak compared to these. And also, I know I'm carrying the DVDs, but like, why do it like this? Like, why put the DVDs like where it's like, oh, when you open it, all the discs are in one box? I get that, but here's the thing: when I opened it, it's all over the place, and you need to get. No, that's just more like my box, of Legend of Korra. But I would have felt if they, like, obviously at the back they show all the DVD box sets, but like all the boxes, sorry. I felt it would have been better if they did like what Avatar did, where it's like this cover, and then when you open it, it's all 3 Avatar books. That would have been, I think that would have been better. Now that's not much of an issue with the show. That's just morely an issue with the DVDs. I think if they did that, that could have been a bit more cooler. But yeah, I'm just like, wait, why did they do that with the first and not do it with the sequel? I don't know. Never get explained, I guess. But other than that, that's not much of an issue. That's just kind of an issue with the DVDs. But it doesn't affect the quality of the DVDs or the show. So yeah, you're probably wondering for my rating. I'll let Harry Thomas give his rating first.
Yeah, and if there was a further TV show related to Last Airbender, I'd happily watch it. I give The Legend of Korra 5 stars out of 5, best TV show ever.
So yeah, you heard Harry Thomas's rating. So for me, I would give The Legend of Korra, I would give it an 8 out of 10 and a seal of awesomeness. It is kind of hard for me to like think of a good rating because it is kind of hard for me to like. Hey, it might change from an 8 to a 9. It definitely is higher from a 7. If not, it could just stay at an 8. But yeah, it's not perfect, and it certainly needs a lot more improvement. But hey, if they decide, I know that they're probably not going to do a third Avatar series. I mean, make it a trilogy of series, but I doubt it at this point. And to me, I'm not going to be honest, but I don't really want another Avatar series. I think to me, I don't know. I'm not a big of a fan of idea of like making the older characters that we saw from the original. It just like it's cool seeing them all like they're grown up and how much older they've gotten over the past 7 years. But to me, if you're gonna make another Avatar series, I'd say just stick with like a book form maybe of Last Airbender, or just make a continuation of them as adults maybe, and maybe taking place before The Legend of Korra. That'd be kind of cool. I think everyone wants to see Aang and the gang again, but I think I would anyway. But other than that, I'm happy with that. I'm really glad. I'm actually kind of sad that I finished the whole series because I really enjoyed going through both Avatar shows. I really enjoyed going through both of these shows as a whole, and I thought like it was very good. I thought they are very good. If I were to add them up, I'd give obviously if you add up, there's actually 7 seasons of an Avatar show if you're counting The Legend of Korra. So for me, if I were to give them all a whole, if I were to add them all up, I would give Avatar, Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra. I think I would give them a 10 out of 10 altogether, but separately I'd give Avatar a 9. The book one is definitely the weakest, and I'd give Legend of Korra an 8 out of 10. So not far apart. It is, but they are very close to getting a 10. But yeah, they're not as good as Ninjago, but that's not a bad thing. So yeah guys, that is my review for Legend of Korra. I hope you all enjoyed. This is probably one of my longest reviews I've ever done. I will get, the raw file is actually 15 minutes, so I'll probably feel like 20 minutes when I get Harry's part. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed me and Harry's review of The Legend of Korra. We have completed our Avatar marathon. So overall, I enjoyed going through the series. It's not perfect, but it's got its issues, and I think, if you're going through like a marathon, if you're looking for like 2 shows to watch, I'd say I definitely recommend these 2. I 100% recommend them. They are really good TV shows, and I hope I do like want to see more. But then again, they don't want to ruin it because obviously the creators, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Conesco, I can't remember what his name is. They said they're done because they had said, oh, after Legend of Korra they're finished. I can respect that because I think now they're working on The Dragon Prince, which is amazing, by the way. I know someone's probably going to ask, oh, are you going to review that? I'm going to review it when the show is finished, because I'm guessing that's probably only going to be like 3 seasons. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you, Harry, for joining me for this collaboration. I shall see you guys next time, and skidoosh.
Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Google Plus and on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.